Good Monday morning, everyone. Go get 'em, Tiger. All right, today we're talking about mood, food, and inflammation on the brain, because the food you and I eat can directly change the way we think and can happen through inflammation in the body and through addictive cycles. Nutrient deficient food can change the way our brain actually works, can change neurological connections, and the sugars and the refined carbohydrates that are heavy in our culture has been shown to create dopamine kicks and cycles that make you crave more. In the early 20th century, it all changed. We went from growing our own food and cooking our own food to always being on the go and going traveling and going world and doing all that good stuff. And we needed a quick fix. We needed food very quickly. So we had food manufacturers that have warehouses that have labs in them that look like university labs that can alter and change the chemical makeup of food to keep you craving more, to get you addicted. So they do it through what? Additives and sugar. Now, you have dopamine receptors in your brain. Remember, dopamine keeps you craving more sugar. So there's an area called the limbic system, which is composed of the hippocampus, the amygdala, the nucleus accumbens, and there's another part called the prefrontal cortex. And when you and I eat sugar, let's say I have a scoop of ice cream, the amygdala kicks in and goes, that is the best thing I have ever eaten. And the hippocampus goes, where did I get that? How do I get it again? And the nucleus accumbens kicks in as that little guy on your shoulder goes, take another bite. And then my prefrontal cortex goes, I'm gonna eat this till the whole thing is done. So you have your brain supporting you, you have sugar supporting you, and you create the addictive cycle. But all the while, that sugar creates inflammation. They said in a North Carolina study that out of 1.2 million food sources that were tested, almost 70% of them had food additives and sugar added to them. Namely, high fructose corn syrup, i.e. sugar. In our culture today, in our society, we subsidize crops such as wheat, soy, and corn. And that makes it very cheap. And so we will take those crops and put it into foods in our system, mixing the organic and the natural with some artificial, chemically made foods to make us addicted. Sugar will lead to inflammation. Inflammation will ruin your gut. And gut health is important because many of the neurotransmitters and hormones within your brain are created within your digestive tract. So the more sugar you eat, the more it can hurt your brain function. It can actually lead to anxiety, depression, OCD qualities if we're not careful. And this is how far it goes. If you look at something with high fructose corn syrup, it can be added from anything to ketchup to meat sources. Do you know that when you eat a really juicy steak, you know why they say that they're going to add marbling to it? Because corn is fed, or grains are fed to the cow, so that gets pre-diabetic. It almost gets diabetic to where they create a juicy texture because you give them diabetes. That's why people say eat grass-fed, organic, because you don't want that marbling. Now, I'm not saying all sugar is bad. I'm just saying it is in our nature, in our culture, in our past, where you and I, if we grew up back in the old days, we would eat some form of sugar because it actually added a little bit of fat through cortisol levels. I won't go into that right now, but it prepared us for the winter. The winter we stayed inside. We fed off the nutrients that were stored up in the fat that we got from the sugar. But nowadays we eat sugar every day, all day. So it can literally start to change your DNA, the expression of your DNA. And that's what makes it very harmful. If you eat too much sugar, it creates inflammation, destroys gut permeability, and then it starts to alter the way your genes are expressed, namely the BDNF. They call it the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which means this is a protein in your body that actually builds your brain. Studies have shown when you have high sugar, refined sugars, can actually diminish the function of BDNF, which means brain action out the door. Good diets with good fats, healthy fats, really good grass-fed beef or proteins actually increase the action of BDNF. So I want you guys to remember, let's cut out the sugar. Normal daily intake, they say at a nominal level, is 26 grams. Some people say go down to at least 10 grams to get the amounts you need every day, men and women. So if you're eating above 26 grams, don't just look at your label and say, oh, it's 12 grams of sugar and 34 grams of carbs. You add the carbs and the sugars together, and you shouldn't go above 25 or 26. That's what you need in a day. So that's Teacher Motley coming in, strong and hard, just letting you know that if you reduce the sugars, reduce the inflammation, you help your brain. I hope this is informative. It was very long. Check out the post, guys, but I do it with love. Take it easy.